Are you a health, relationship, or life coach that has gotten clients serious results, yet you're struggling to get consistent business because you don't have a steady source of leads coming in? In this video, I'm going to share with you the timeless principles that will help you craft paid ad campaigns that'll attract your dream customers so that you can consistently, predictably, and scalably get leads for your coaching business. Word of mouth is incredibly important, and it's not a bad idea to have a good website, but it's not enough to help you grow your coaching business to the level that you want to be at. The big difference between a small coaching business and a highly successful coaching business is that they have implemented a system for generating consistent leads and converting them into customers. For example, there was a person that I was advising who did consulting in the restaurant space. She was relying on word of mouth and personal connections to get her next sale, but she was struggling to consistently find the next person to do business with because not only were there not enough people that were showing interest in her services, but when someone was interested, she found that often they weren't even a good fit for the program that she sold. On the other hand, I had worked with two people who were partners who owned a coaching business for agencies who wanted to scale to 6 and 7 figures per month. They ended up making 8 figures per year helping agencies because they had their lead generation system dialed in, and they used only paid ads to drive people into their funnel. Because they set up a paid ad system based on principles that I'll share with you today, and they tailored their messaging to speak to their dream customers, they were able to get consistent, high-quality leads, which made their sales process more effective and led to massive results in their business. That's the power of a well-done paid ad system for generating leads. Now, paid direct response marketing has been around for hundreds of years, so this is a form of marketing that has been working for business owners for a long time. But full disclosure, in today's economy, it is one of the higher cost forms of marketing for your business. So if you're just starting out and haven't gotten any paying clients before or haven't gotten anyone results, I don't particularly recommend starting with paid ads. But if you're a coach in the health or relationship space and you've already had your first few clients and you are confident that you are capable of delivering results, then investing in a paid ad marketing strategy that is effective is a great idea for reaching people who already want to get the result that you deliver and who have been looking for a solution to their problem. If this sounds like you, then let's hop into the masterclass. Anyone can figure out how to set up a Facebook account, enter their credit card, and run an ad. But few people really learn how to make a paid ad successful. So they end up burning a bunch of money and saying that paid ads don't work, which is not true. You just didn't know how to make it work. So we're not going to focus on how to set up paid ads on social media today. We are going to focus on what the principles of successful paid ads are so that you can take the information and put it to practice. How do pro athletes become pro athletes? They focused years of their time and energy on mastering the fundamentals. Michael Jordan didn't learn how to dunk when he started playing basketball. He learned how to dribble properly, pass the ball, position himself, how to guard the ball, how to create space, and eventually learn how to dunk. A successful ad is like a slam dunk. If you understand how to dribble, pass, and get into the right position, then you create the opportunity to dunk. So let's focus on the fundamentals you need to understand. There are 3 fundamental principles to making profitable ads. 1, the psychology behind it. 2, the math behind it. And 3, the salesmanship or the words you use. Let's start with the psychology. You are advertising to human beings, not robots. So understanding how the human mind works at a very high level helps us understand what we can focus on and what elements we can include in our advertisements to increase the chances that our ads convert. The human mind has 3 areas. There's the logic and reasoning part of the brain. This part of the brain is trained to rationalize and to look for ways to say no. There's the emotional and memory part of the brain, and there's the instinctual part of the brain. So the first key to good advertising is to deliver a message that bypasses the logical part of the brain and that speaks directly to the emotional and instinctual parts of the brain. In this part of the brain is where pain and desire live, And when you're trying to help people with your coaching program, they need to understand on this emotional level how they will benefit. Everyone is being sold all of the time in today's world, and they have to make rational decisions all of the time. Many coaches will advertise by giving information. You talk about your program, all the steps involved, the tactics, the strategies. You mention the price or mention you are discounting it for a certain amount of time. All of this is logical information. The logical information needs to be disclosed to your prospect, but not at the advertising stage. So when it comes to the advertisement, focus on incorporating these elements to speak to the emotions of your prospect. 1. Stories. Stories completely bypass the logical part of the brain. It makes people go into their minds and visualize and feel. What can you share that people can connect with? What is your story? What made you passionate about helping others through coaching? What experiences did you go through that made you want to pursue a career in coaching others and transforming their lives? What stories have your previous clients brought you? Is there any before and after client transformation stories that you can share with others that will move their emotions and inspire them to connect with you so that you can help them too? These are the kinds of stories you want to embed into the message of your ad. Element 2, using the word new. The word new overrides the logical part of the brain because people don't have a reference point to compare it to. Element 3, curiosity. Curiosity creates anticipation because we desire to close the loop that we open. Element 4, authority. As human beings, we have an authority bias. It's the reason we tend to respect and take advice from people in uniform. When we see a doctor walk into the room with a white coat on, we tend to trust that we should do what they recommend to better our health. Imagine walking into a gym looking for a fitness coach. 2 people approach you, one in casual clothes who hesitantly suggests some exercises. Another in appropriate fitness attire who confidently explains a tailored approach. Who would you trust? Your ad viewers make similar split-second decisions. I'm not saying to throw on your tux for the ad video. Just make sure that you, 1, look the part, and 2, and most importantly, speak with authority. Look at the camera, practice what you'll say, and say it confidently. As a coach, you are the authority in your domain. Element 5, social proof. People want what other people want. It's human nature. So weaving in stories and testimonials about people you have helped in the past creates a feeling of desirability in your services and creates a feeling of safety. Even if you haven't gotten many people results, if you are a living testimony to your coaching methods because you have lost the weight and kept it off, or you have maintained a happy marriage, or you have transformed your life in some way, then talk about your experience as the social proof that your coaching works. Element 6, urgency and scarcity. People have a fear of missing out and also tend to value things that are in limited supply. Adding urgency and scarcity into your ads by mentioning how you'll only be offering something until a certain date or have a limited supply of spots of people you can work with leverages human psychology. Element 7, using bonuses. Incentivizing people to click on your ad and take the desired action can be done by mentioning bonuses. Incentivize people to click on your ad or visit your website, whatever it is you want them to do, by offering to send them a bonus like a guide, a booklet, a template, or something that they will find valuable and that helps them get a little closer to the result that you ultimately help them achieve with your coaching. Element 8, risk reversal. Human beings hate risk. The less risk you can present them with, the easier the decision comes. Adding types of guarantees that ensure that they know that risk is taken off their shoulders and put onto yours leverages human psychology as well. Think of your prospect's logical brain as a bouncer at an exclusive club. If you try to push your way in with facts and figures, you'll be rejected. But stories, emotions, and curiosity are like being on the VIP list. They get you immediate access. Fundamental number 2, the math behind successful ads. If you hate math, don't worry. This won't get too technical. But it is important to understand the numbers behind advertising. It's not the best idea to just put together an ad and put your credit card on it and just hope for the best. When you have an idea of how the numbers come together, you can put together an ad strategy that can, print money. A lot of coaches' questions when they want to run paid ads is, how much should my ad budget be? The best answer that I found to this is your ad budget should be as much as you can spend and still be profitable. Because if you are turning a profit from your ads, then you should actually spend as much as you can until you have the number of clients that you feel comfortable working with at one time. Here are the 3 core metrics you need to understand to make the numbers work when it comes to your ads. Metric number 1, cost per acquisition or cost to acquire a customer. How much do you spend on advertising to acquire a customer for your core offer? This is the total amount you spend on advertising divided by the number of new customers you brought in to your program. So, simple example, assuming your only cost in this scenario is advertising. If you spent $1,000 on ads in the last month and you brought in 10 new customers, your cost per acquisition or your cost to acquire a customer is $100. Number 2, average order value. This is the amount of money on average that a customer spends on the initial transaction. So if you're selling a coaching program with a core price of $5,000, that would typically be your average order value. Don't count upsells in this or any sort of secondary transactions. Metric number 3, lifetime value. This is the amount of money that the average customer spends over their lifetime of doing business with you. This is the total amount of times they buy from you multiplied by the average amount they spend each time they purchase. Think of these metrics as your business GPS. Your cost to acquire a customer is your fuel cost, average order value is your initial destination, and lifetime value is the complete journey. If you spend more on fuel than you earn at your first stop, you'll need to ensure the complete journey makes the trip worthwhile. So when you sell a coaching program and your cost to acquire a customer is less than your average order value, then you are profitable on the initial transaction, and anything that you sell to your customers in the future is pure profit. If your cost to acquire a customer is equal to your average order value, then you break even on the initial transaction, and anything you sell in the future to your customers is pure profit. And if your cost to acquire a customer is higher than your average order value on the initial transaction, then you lose money on day 1. You want to be able to understand and calculate these metrics so that you know how to tweak your paid ad strategy and make sure that you become profitable on the initial transaction, and ultimately so that you can become very profitable on the initial transaction. So, simple math to calculate, but what factors influence the math, and how can you make sure that the math works in your favor? Imagine that you are at an auction and you are competing with other people who are bidding for something, and you all want the product that is being auctioned. Well, in the paid ad space, it's exactly like that, except the product being auctioned is traffic. People run paid ads to get traffic, and traffic is how many people click on your ad and land on your landing page or your website. How does someone win the product at an auction? They bid the highest amount of money, but it is not always the person that has the most amount of money in general that can bid the highest amount. If you're at an auction bidding for premium traffic, and the person next to you has twice your budget, but you've crafted an offer that converts at 3 times their rate, who can afford to bid higher? You can, because each visitor is worth more to your business. The person that can bid the highest amount of money will be the person with the best product and the person who offers the highest reward to resistance ratio. The reward is the amount of money you make when you sell the product. Simple. The resistance is what your potential customers experience when being advertised and sold to. And this can be influenced by a few things: level of desire, level of impulse, level of difficulty, price, number of resistance points, and psychology, which we briefly just touched based on how to shift in your favor. In general, when people are selling a health or relationship coaching program, there's a high level of desire to achieve the result that you can help them achieve. And there's a relatively low level of impulse because it typically takes some time and effort to get the desired result. So focus on making your program in a way that makes it the least difficult possible to get your clients a result. Focus on making an offer that is a lot more valuable than the price you charge. We have another video on how to make your high ticket coaching offers irresistible. So check this out if you want to go in depth with how to add value to your offer. When it comes to number of resistance points, this refers to the number of points in your sales process. Each point has a drop-off rate. For example, 100 people click on your ad, but 25 actually gave you contact information. Of those 25, only 10 take your initial call, 5 schedule a follow-up sales call, and 3 end up buying. So make sure that you optimize the number of resistance points in your overall sales process. You don't necessarily want the least number of resistance points, but you also don't want to add as many as possible. For your high ticket coaching offers, I've found that a 5-step sales system can work very effectively. Those 5 points are a paid ad, to a lead generation funnel that captures contact information in exchange for something of value, then a discovery call to see if the person is a good fit for what you offer, a pre-call video to educate on your program and offer, and then a final sales call. Fundamental number 3, the sales copy, also known as the words you use in the ad. So you understand what elements of human psychology you can leverage to craft your message, and you understand what metrics you need to keep in mind to make sure that you run a profitable ad. So how do you put this together into words that you type and say so that you can launch an ad campaign? There's 3 parts to the sales copy: the headline or the hook, the body, and the call to action. Let's start with the headline or the hook. This is by far the most important part of your ad. If you had 5 hours to work on what you were going to say in your ad, spend the first 4 hours on the hook and headline. I heard a story of 2 people in the coaching space who were doing content marketing, and accidentally they ended up making a video that was very, very similar. Exact same content and very similar talking points. But one of them got a few thousand people to watch the entire video and click through, and the other one got a few 100,000 people to watch and click through to the next step. The only major difference between both videos was the hook. In the first 5 seconds, the viewers decided if they would stay and watch the rest or if it wasn't going to be worth their time. The first 3 to 5 seconds of what you say in a video are the most important because they get someone's attention and makes them interested in listening and watching further. Paid ads are not usually something that people look to find. So when someone is scrolling and your ad pops up, those first 3 to 5 seconds are the deciding factor on if they'll consume the rest of the ad. Make sure that your headline does not sell, but gets them to engage. A good headline can be visual or spoken and usually includes self-interest and curiosity. A headline formula where you can fill in the blanks is how to get desire without pain, or the new way to get desire without pain, or some variation of how to desire without pain. After crafting your hook, or really your list of hooks to test, put together the body of your ad. Think of your ad's body as a first date. If you immediately propose marriage, try to sell, your date will run. Instead, share stories, build connection, and focus on providing value. The commitment will come naturally when trust is established. The body includes a lead-in, which is usually questions that call out your target audience and stories that teach, inform, and provide a value to your viewer. Can you think of any stories from your time coaching that can teach your viewers something useful and that you can offer a lead magnet that relates to the story? Now that you have captured attention with your hook and given information in your body, finish your ad with an offer and call to action. Imagine you're at a networking event. You meet someone interesting, have a great conversation, and before parting ways, you suggest a coffee meeting next week. That's what an effective call to action does. It's the natural next step that feels comfortable for both parties. Tell them what you have and what it will do for them. I wouldn't try to sell your program directly in the ad, but just sell the action you want them to take in exchange for something of value. So if you have put together a lead magnet, like a guide, a cheat sheet, a video lesson, a registration for an upcoming free virtual event where you're going to be teaching something, anything that can help someone on the road to getting the result your overall program gets them, tell them about that, lead them to click on the ad to get it. Final tips for improving your sales copy. 1. Crystallize. Go line by line and analyze what you're planning on saying. Cut or replace anything that does not help you get the goal you want. Anything that is boring, anything that is not necessary. Replace these parts of your copy with stories, curiosity, and social proof. 2. Simplify. Before you post your ad, use a website called HemingwayApp.com and find out what reading level your copy is at. Tweak your headline and your sales copy to get down to a 3rd or 4th grade reading level. You want the language that you use to be as quickly understandable as possible, because it will take less focus and brain power for your viewers to understand the point and receive the message. 3. Speechify. Read your sales copy out loud and make sure it sounds conversational. The more conversational it is, the more persuasive and engaging it'll be. All right, we're finishing up, and I know I just gave you a lot of information on how to level up your advertising game. There is a lot of noise in the marketing space, and many people online will try to focus on what the latest trends for paid ads are. But just like with everything in life, it's an 80-20 thing. Focusing your time and your energy on the important 20% will get you 80% of the results in your advertising. To summarize, the important principles to understand if you want to invest in paid ads for your coaching business are: human psychology. Use stories and new to bypass the logical brain and to activate the emotional brain in your viewers. Then include elements of curiosity, authority, social proof, urgency, scarcity, bonuses, and risk reversal to leverage human emotion and to connect with your ad viewers. The math. Make sure you understand and can calculate and track cost to acquire customers, average order value, and lifetime value. If you start advertising and your cost to acquire a customer is higher than your average order value, you need to fix something in your acquisition system to make the numbers work in your favor and get your average order value to be greater than your cost to acquire a customer. Make sure your offer is highly valuable, focused on minimizing the effort your client needs to put in to get results, minimizing the time it takes to get results, and that your sales process has an effective number of resistance points. The sales copy. Focus the majority of your effort on the first 3 to 5 seconds of your video ad. Test different headlines that include self-interest and curiosity and that capture attention. Also, test visual hooks that capture attention, like interesting backgrounds and settings where you film. Use the rest of your ad to teach through stories and analogies where the viewer gets something of value, and then offer them something and call them to take an action. Optimize your ad copy for the direct next action that you want your viewers to take, not to sell your program. Typically, you're optimizing for someone to click the ad and give you contact information in exchange for something of value. I hope this information is helpful to you. If you're looking for more lessons on how to launch or scale your coaching program, take a look at our channel. And if you want personalized help on how to scale your coaching program to multiple 5 figures per month, message me at the contact info on the screen. Thanks for tuning in.